materials I use are obviously dictated a bit by what I'm able or not able to do. So I obviously tend to work on a fairly small scale, in fairly simple materials on the whole, either in clay, which can then be cast, or in small rocks that I find around the place. I think in terms of my perspective, it's very much obviously because I'm walking around and looking up in the air, that I do obviously have a different angle of vision on things. And so, particularly with the choice of the gargoyles, it's something I'd always very much noticed, whereas other people maybe wouldn't have noticed it because they're walking along and really not looking up. The idea behind the gargoyles was very much to find a new perspective for sculptures and to find a new position which would reflect in a way my point of view, my angle of vision, and give other people a bit of stimulus to think about directions of vision and whether you were looking up at something and whether it was looking down at you. Similarly with the mask, it's very much the impression that I have that other people have when they look at me, is their point of view is very much from the chin forward and then the face going back and the neck going down. And I did that very much with how other people must see me in mind. A lot of my heads tend to be, or a lot of my work tends to be grotesque, I think, for one reason or another. I think certainly one thing that I try and do in a lot of ways is to take an image that is, in traditional terms, is ugly, and I'll try and make that in some sort of way beautiful, so that you have a sort of dichotomy between. You really think it's a fairly horrible thing to look at, but at the same time you should, if it works, then you should want to look at it.
Would you want to make a deliberate effort to divorce your art from your disability?
No, I don't think I'd ever make a deliberate effort to divorce my art from my perspective, my way of looking, and from my abilities or disabilities. In a way, I'm very resistant to the idea of, there's a market in, say, animal heads. I've done one dog's head because I need the dog. But I don't want to suddenly start going off and just, people say, oh, I'd really like a head of my dog. I don't particularly want to do that unless there's something in it for me and there's some part of my perspective in that. To me, society seeks absolutes, which, as far as I'm concerned, is a very false idea and leads to such unreal distinctions as good and evil, right and wrong, able-bodied, disabled. And I think one problem that people have with dealing with the disabled is very much that it's outside their absolute ideal of what people should be like, and it rejects how people actually are.
Well, to most people this might seem a fairly steep slope. To me it's a bit like being on a toboggan run. I could be really in trouble if it was wet. I got my hands firmly locked onto the wheels and we're now approaching the bottom. There we go, we're nearly there. There's a slight awkward lip here, there's a bin in the way, could be awkward. Oh, and then missed it, back again. Into it. There we go. Now this looks interesting. Well, it's a pity I couldn't have got up that easy, isn't it?
Why do you think it is that not all churches have ramps?
Well, I don't think they have here, have they?
I don't think so, no.
No.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I expect they don't really cater for disabled people, really, do they? Chairs and things.
There is a way for wheelchairs to come up there. And is there a way...
You can't actually get in?
Can't get, yes, the problem is there, isn't it?
Why do you think it is that not all churches have ramps?
I don't know. Maybe they haven't got many handicapped people or many people in wheelchairs, but we have, haven't we? No, we haven't.
I don't think you got one there, no.
Well, I don't think we have any people in wheelchairs.
How do you feel about them not having them?
I think they should. I think they should cater for all needs.
Have you heard of Lourdes, Colin?
Yes.
Could you tell me what you know about Lourdes and why people go there?
Well, I believe that the water there is blessed by Mary and is believed to cure people. And when they drink it, or washing it.
I've tried drinking some of the water, but it never works.
Why do you think it doesn't work?
Well, it works for some people and it don't work for others.
Do you know who Jesus was?
He was a man who loved people and cared about them.
He was kind. He used to cure people, crippled people, help people.
Well, he loves people very much, and he has cured a lot of people, like the blind, people who had leprosy, and all those diseases that he's cured.
Do you think he wants us to do things for ourselves, or do you think he wants other people to help us?
I think he wants us to do stuff on our own. I'll go to new school now every 3 days a week, and they fuss over me every time I fall over. And then I say I'm all right.
Well, he'd want us to act very nice to them and treat them the same as normal people.
All I can say is that it does give me immense pleasure to be able to make a small contribution myself on a day like this, and to see all of you gathered here from so many different countries, all showing just what sheer determination and courage can do for all of us who are lucky enough to be able-bodied. So if I may now declare the 7th World Wheelchair Games, or the Paralympics 1984, open.
So, the 7th World Wheelchair Games finally underway. The able-bodied Olympics, of course, happening 6,000 miles away in Los Angeles. And these games originally scheduled to be held near Chicago, but the finance collapsed, and at the last minute they were changed to Stoke Mandeville here, which has done a heroic job at very short notice in coping with over 1,200 competitors from 42 countries. And the first showpiece event on the track, the men's 100-metre final. There in lane 6, Randy Snow from the United States. Next to him, Britain's Paul Cartwright. Then in lane 4, possibly the favourite, Ron Minor from Canada, heroically built, possibly better suited to the 200 and 400 where he holds world records. In lane 3 will be Hans Schroeder of West Germany. The Germans are very keen on track racing in wheelchairs. There's a major event at every big track meet in West Germany. In lane 2 is Keane of Holland, and Courtney in New Zealand brings up the 6th place on the inside, a really international field. As I say, Minor of Canada considered the favourite in lane 4. Fast racing wheelchairs, these, specially designed for speed, and a very good start there on the inside by Courtney of New Zealand. Surprising, he's got a whole wheelchair ahead of everybody else. Courtney of New Zealand flying away. Next to him, Keane of Holland. And in lane 4, coming up there strongly now is Ron Minor, but he's left it far too late, and it's a fast time as well. In fact, a new world record for Courtney of New Zealand. A surprise winner there, the New Zealander. 16.68, beating the previous record of 16.80 with Schroeder second, and a rather rueful Minor of Canada third.
What I don't think anybody can come to an event, as we saw today, when you watch 2,000 athletes who have many problems, whether you're a Down syndrome or cerebral palsy or whatever you have, and yet you can run 50 meters or the 220 or even the mile run, or go into a pentathlon, or go into a swimming meet, a relay of 400 meters, and watch them with great determination, with great delight at winning, and have them participate in a very serious, competitive, athletic event and not know that their lives are changed.
The softball throw, an event unique to the Special Olympics movement. It seems peculiarly popular with some of the older competitors, but it's an event that also requires a fair amount of coordination. It sometimes seems that the competitors get more pleasure from being hugged after the event than the actual competition itself. So here's 42-year-old Joe Cosgrove from Leinster. Let's see what Joe can do. And again, the yellow shirts around him, but I think Joe really wants to concentrate more on the sport itself. Jackie O'Kane has become a great favourite here, the winner of the standing long jump. At 45, one of the more senior competitors perhaps.
Jackie, can I just ask you, you just competed here, how did it feel just now in this competition?
Well, no, I'll give in. I did feel a bit nervous.
You did?
But well, after you get used to it, you know.
Sure. Did you enjoy the competition apart from that?
The only thing good was the nice women. You know, the nice girls, you know.
What about all the shouting and everything? Wasn't that a bit difficult for concentration?
I always shouting did, you know. I always shouting did. You know, concentration at all, you know.